Hey Ray, how you doing? All my work is done. It's Friday evening. I haven't had a fire in a while, so I thought I'd get one started. Something's burning. Pete's Little Homestead. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Not bad. You mean not good? I guess not bad meaning everything is okay. I hope. I can't believe I finally got this to work. My connection has been so bad. I've tried to do live streams for the past couple of months and they just keep bombing out. But I talked to Sprint today and they're my carrier. And it turns out that, according to them, they had not upgraded me in a long time. And it's like, yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. So even though I have an older phone and an older system, it still works now because they made some adjustments to my account. Oh, I hope that's not a snake. I had to sit on the ground to do this because I wanted you to see the fire. But you know what happens when you got a big pile of rocks and you start a fire? Sometimes things come out of it that you don't expect to come out. Yeah, so anyhow, Sprint, hey, the truth, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. So I had a little talk with Sprint, and they said that things are going to get better with my internet at the house because it's just been ridiculous. I mean, it was always kind of. I thought it was bad before, but after June, it was terrible. Well, I don't want to talk all night about the stupid internet, but I'm just glad that the live stream is working right now. I'm trying to keep the fire going so y'all can enjoy it. Did a full day of work, came home, mowed the grass, did not want to, made myself do it. That's the thing. Once you get to something, the sooner you get started, the sooner it's done. I was gonna let it go 3 weeks because it's starting to cool down, but it's not cooling down too much. It was like 67 degrees today. We're waking up and it's pretty cool in the morning. We haven't had a frost yet here in the Hudson Valley, but it's kind of late for it. It should have happened already. We should have had the frost. How does it work? You get the hey Cecilia, how you doing? Hey Jeremy, how are you? You ain't no way, Jeremy. I can beat you. I know I can beat you. Thanks for stopping in, Cecilia and Jeremy. This is my second try tonight. The first one was on my phone, and for some reason, my phone was not accepting the whole StreamYard thing. It was kind of like kicking it back, and then I restarted the phone, and it seemed to accept it, and it went into my download and everything, and it seemed to take it, but it just didn't work. Central Ohio. Yeah, I mean, we should have. I was looking at some memories off of Facebook, and let's see, when the heck was it? It must have been 2018 or 19. In fact, I just posted a picture, or maybe I didn't. I was fishing on the Esopus Creek up in Phoenicia, New York, doing a little late season fly fishing outdoors with. Hey, Big Man, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Let me see if I can get that picture. Oh, I'm not sure how to do it on. I'm still so new to this. But anyhow, it was like 2018 or 19. The colors were so vibrant, and it wasn't that long ago. And I'm looking around the Hudson Valley as I travel around doing my thing, and it's like green and dull yellow. It, I don't know. If it's because we had so much so much rain this year now, but yeah, it's not cooling down like it normally does. Usually we get a good frost by now. Gives everything a good bite and we get some real pretty color. But nothing's really happened. There's a couple of trees here and there. Oh, so hunting's working out much better for me this year. I got 4 pheasant already, and I winged one, which I hate doing, but it's like I'm back in the saddle again because the hawks are out. You know, I watch the red tails in the fields because I don't use a dog. I'm probably the only numbnuts out there that doesn't use a dog to hunt pheasants, but I always get pheasant, except for last year. Boy, last year, oh man, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for myself. I was embarrassed for my gun because it was cold all season. But yeah, this year I'm watching the hawks, and I winged one on Saturday. And hey, Ramsey, how you do? Boy, you're a stranger. Haven't seen you in a long time. Thanks for coming out. So yeah, I winged this pheasant. He popped up out of the hedgerow. It was just after dawn, and of course, you know, you always think it's a chipmunk. And he takes off in front of me. I just wing him, and then I watch the Cooper's hawk, which I actually almost shot earlier because if you ever seen a Cooper's hawk, he's got a long tail, and it sort of has the same what would you call it? Contrast in color, except his bands are much wider, and it's not quite as long as the pheasant. But I see him up there, and I'm getting ready. And I was like, wait a minute, that's Cooper's hawk. Watch him, because the pheasant you just winged, he's looking to get a hot meal out of. Well, unfortunately, I never found him. But I'm sure, I hate that. Hate it when that happens, but it's part of the game. But the Cooper's hawk probably got him. Yeah, I know. I remember that was the case last year. Anybody else get a deer? I haven't gone bow hunting. I don't have that equipment anymore. So I might have a crossbow coming from South Dakota, from Pierce, South Dakota. My friend's brother has a bunch of them hanging around, and if he does send one out, I'm definitely gonna go out. Hey, Dark 30, how you doing? It's Friday night. All my work is done. Just got done mowing the grass so I can sit in it without getting soaked, and I thought I'd have a little fire. I'm gonna try to go hunting this weekend. Yeah, Jeremy, I've been getting up at dawn for the state land that I hunt on because I've been trying to avoid World War III, and I mean, even before an hour before dawn, it sounds like all hell's breaking loose out there, and I can't move far. You know, we all have in the state land property that I hunt. We have there's placards up, and it that's you can park one car there, and then you can hunt that side of the road, but it's some of it's kind of close. So you know, I hear guns and dogs over there, and there's guns and dogs behind me, and there's guns and dogs across the road. So I'm just kind of stuck in the fence row. But at that time in the morning, what's a pheasant doing? A pheasant's out along the roads picking up little pebbles for its crop so it can eat for the day. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Good to see you too. Thanks for stopping in. I loved your video. And you know, when I saw the work you guys had to go through, and when you were going up that switchback on that horse, I thought, God bless him for filming this while he's doing that, because that could easily be a neck breaker. Hey, hunting and stuff. Thanks for coming in earlier. And I'm sorry everything got messed up. I have had so many connection problems, but I'm glad this one is finally working out. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. How's Endicott? I don't know if I ever mentioned it before, but I used to have a house up in Deposit, New York. Not actually in Deposit, New York, because I know what Hunting and stuff is going to say, because hell no. It was actually in Stylesville, a mile outside of town, where we had like maybe two neighbors at the time. Had the house with a great fellow named Len. He was my boyfriend at the time. And we had that house from 1989 until 99, where we broke up amicably and he bought me out. And I should have bought right back in. There was a Girl Scout camp over in Equinunk, Pennsylvania. And I went over to look at it, and it was a good price. But it needed a lot of work. And if you know anything about upstate New York, and I'm sure Hunting and stuff does, um, it's almost like Europe, where everybody has to have a chance at the job. You can't just pick one person. And everybody's competing because there's. It's probably different now. That this is going back over 20 years, but it was. I knew what I was up against with the contractors. I was like, geez, do I want to deal with this? And I'm not going to be there all the time. So a lot of roofs in a Girl Scout camp, a lot of rotten floors. Yeah, it's like with the oil companies. Hey, Hunting and stuff. I got a question for you. Have you ever heard? I know you see the convenience stores now, but how far back do you remember Marabito heating? And the reason why I'm asking that is because my oil company down here in the lower Hudson Valley used to be Abbott and Mills. And then back in the day when the prices were going up, a lot of these companies had to meet the ship down on the Hudson River. And they had to have cash in hand to get the oil off the boat to put it into the truck. And a lot of them, like mine, were old fashioned family run companies from the 1920s, and they had been a little too nice to people over the years, and they didn't have the money. So a lot of them had to merge, and mine merged with Marabito. Well, when I lived in Stylesville, New York for 10 years there, between 89 and 99, I never once heard of them. Never once. But they claim they've been around since like the 1920s. But, Marabito, I'm thinking it's some kind of mafioso thing. I don't know. But I know they've got convenience stores all over the place up there now. But yeah, they're not nice. They're not nice to their customers because, like I said, the upstate New York dynamic is there's not as much competition up there, so maybe there is a little bit more now. But when I was up there, there wasn't. So you could kind of you had to be nice. You had to treat your customers well. But down here in the Hudson Valley, there are so many people that you just leave and go to somebody else. But Marabito is my heart goes out to you, Hunting and stuff. If you have to use them, but they're a bunch of bastards. They really are. Luckily, at the old Abbott and Mills, where I buy my oil, the woman at the desk is a Mills, and she's still there. And a couple of the technicians from way back when are still there, so we all get along really well. And she knows, she's been around long enough. She knows how to work the system and make it a little easier on customers like myself who are stellar. Never miss a payment. But yeah, Marabito, they're really cutthroat. I don't like them at all. That video was awesome. Yeah, the truth. It it really does. Oh my God. Sometimes I feel like I was born in the wrong decade. If I had been born in 55 instead of 65, I might have been able to get away from some of this. But I don't know. Then again, even if you're born in 35, you're still going to deal with it. You have some of that elk yet, Mark? Last time I had elk was at a game dinner right down the road from me at the Black Rock Fish and Game Club. And there were a couple of guys there who were members. They have like 1,000 members in that club. And one of them lived, I can't remember where it was in Alaska. It wasn't any place like Fairbanks or anywhere. I can't remember the name of the town, but he used to bring caribou. And there was a guy who did what you did, Mark, and went with an outfitter out west, and he would bring back elk. I have to say, though, caribou is still my favorite because I'm a liver lover, and caribou to me has the slightest tang of liver. I think it's kind of similar. Some may not agree with me, though. Elk meat is my favorite. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Basically, the animals we hunt, they're well, maybe except for my pheasant because they're all farmed. I hope everybody realizes that pheasant are not native to this country at all. They brought them in years ago. Even out in South Dakota, if you got it, they have a bigger population of them, and they're much bigger than they are here too. Ours are maybe the size of a chicken, but yeah, they come from China. Beautiful bird though. Beautiful bird. Love seeing it in the field. You know, even when, like the last one that I shot on Wednesday, sometimes the male's heads have a little different coloring, but this one had a white band right across the top. I was like, God, what a beautiful animal. And tasty, too. Really tasty. I'm trying to feed the fire without putting it out and falling into it. Let's see, anytime I get one. Yeah, that's for sure. Because you never know. You know, look at Geo. You know, I love watching Geo hunt. He is the most unpretentious hunter I've ever seen. I mean, he's out there smoking cigarettes and eating Pop Tarts. I just love it. But he's been hitting it hard. He was hitting it hard with the blind and the crossbow, and now he's doing the muzzle loader. Pennsylvania has weird law rules though. It's like a peaceful. It kind of is dark 30. This is my backyard, and I actually live off a state road, a very old state road that runs most of the. Hey JP. No, I'm not making s'mores. Actually, what I do have is somebody gave me some cookies, and I have some brownies in here. Sorry, I can't give any to anybody. If you don't have enough for everybody, there's the brownie. And I got my coffee to go with it. Um, yeah, peaceful. Um, yeah, the road that I live off is one of the oldest state roads, one of the original state roads in the town, not town, in the state of New York, and it's a heavy rush hour road because it gives connections to the thruway and to Route 9W south to New York City and New Jersey. So right now, I gotta say, you know, and I'm surprised one of the hot rodders hasn't gone by with the loud aftermarket muffler. Oh my God, they've been. I know I live on a road, busy road, right? I'm up in the woods though. I'm up on a hill off the road. My road is a quiet country road, and I know, you know, I remember when I was a kid when the guys had the muscle cars, they just took the mufflers right off. But the frequency of these guys coming by, I'm surprised it hasn't happened since I started this live stream. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it hurts. The decibels are so loud. I'd rather have a muscle car any day without a muffler than one of these aftermarkets that are going by. In fact, my cousin Jennifer was out in, where's she, Oregon? And She said she was hearing it too, but she didn't know what it was. You know what I actually found out that was? It all started last year with the Antifa. Oh, something just moved over there. Could have been the fox. The fox will come through sometimes this time of night, but I'm not too concerned about it. My cousin Jennifer was out in Oregon. She thought that there was a racetrack nearby. I said, no, no, no. I said, last year it got so bad, I called the cops in town. I said, I know it's hard to catch these guys on the fly, but we actually did it once before, like 15 years ago. 2 o'clock in the morning, there were some guys on motorcycles that were using our pretty little country back roads here as their own personal racetrack. So I called up dispatch and they said, the next time you hear, we're doing a sting. So next time you hear them, call us immediately. That way we know what they just passed. Well, I called them up last year. Oh yeah, and they caught them too, because wasn't just me. It was a string of neighbors along my road and the connecting roads that they were using as a loop as their little personal speedway. And so when I called last year, I was kind of hoping they might do the same thing. But this is what the cop told me. He said, we're worried about repercussions because of all the Antifa and BLM riots and things like that that are going on. And I still don't know what the Bureau of Land Management had to do with anything last year. I'm just kidding. I know what it means. But he said this is like their Pledge of Allegiance, and I was like, well, I guess you got to do something with your stimulus check, so you might as well put a big loud muffler on your damn car. But he said we just, we don't want to get boxed in somewhere, and I can understand that, but there wasn't much they can do. So now all I can hope for is they're going to get bored with it, and they're going to grow out of it. But I doubt it. Probably won't happen for a long time. Be a good time for a Dutch oven. Yeah, I never got around to doing that. Actually, we had some trees cut down. We had a lanthus, that crazy tree of heaven. It's a big weed, comes from Asia. It's actually the tree that grew in Brooklyn because it'll grow up through a crack in the sidewalk anywhere. It's a parasite of a tree. And we had actually cut it once, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and then the suckers grew out of it, and they were huge, huge, and we're a little worried about them because they don't have a long lifespan, maybe 25 years, maybe, and they're kind of quirky. It's like a cork-like pith to it. The cadmium and all that. It's not very strong inside the tree. So uh, we cut them down, and we had a guy come in, and unfortunately, he trashed this fireplace. I mean, it just got smashed. So I'm kind of, I'm thinking I should do all that stuff, but I'm like, geez, do I want to take every single rock down and put it back together? I will eventually, and get the Dutch oven out. I cook sausages over it. I have one of those camp grills, with the feet, so you can prop it up over the fire. Put some aluminum foil on there, and you're good to go. Because the thing is rusty as hell. Yeah. So what's up behind me isn't much. It's just the woods, and it's the rise of the hill and the Ontario and Western Railway right of way. Um, rail bed is up there. Of course, that went out of business in 1957. But this whole property was owned by William Orr, and he built the big house down below me because of the water. And that was basically why anybody built a house anywhere way back in the day. It was because of the water. The water was great. But he was a grist mill. And I'm going to give you a little history lesson. Back in the day, you grew your own. You didn't go buy a loaf of bread. Well, in the 18th century, not really, especially not in an area like this. So what you did was you grew your own grain, and then you brought it to a guy like William Moore, who had a grist mill, who had access to a stream. He had his mill on the stream, and he had his raceway to power his grindstones, and he would make the meal for you. You know, grind up the grain, and then you would take it home and do what you will with it. Well, he was here in the 1830s, and the railroads were just starting in this country around the 1840s. And then when did the O&W? I just did something about that. I think the O&W showed up. Must have been the 1850s or 60s. Yeah, that sounds about right. If I'm wrong, let me know. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I finally got it to work. I had a long talk with Sprint and found out that they were neglecting me. And I got, oh, that was one other thing I didn't mention. I got a $35 discount because the suckers overcharged me. And this was the first month they did. It was actually a very decent bill for a long time. Yeah, so I got a nice little discount there, and then they revamped my entire bill and my whole package, and now it's going to be less than what I was paying before when I was getting really bad service. Oh, so back to the right of way. Yeah, it's up behind me. Uh, let's see, going this direction. Yeah, that's going to Weehawken. This way is going to Lake Ontario, Buffalo. And at one time you could hunt up there, but then they built a development up on the other side of it. So and the road's a lot busier than it used to be. When I first moved here, there were old stands up there that we used to use, and the neighbor, he had his stand up there. He built one up on the side of the right of way because it's kind of like a ditch. He built it on the high side, and it was a nice little platform where you could put up one of those cheapy blinds that you get from Walmart or something, and then you could put a chair up there. You could put a rocking chair up there. It was big enough. And they used to hunt back then, and we had a bunch of awesome trees up there that you could put a climber in. But since 9/11, everything from the top of that hill is downhill to the state highway. And my biggest worry is, God forbid that damn deer runs out in the middle and some trucker is driving by and it causes a major spectacular accident. I mean, it may not happen. He may also run over to the art center. The Storm King Art Center is across the street from me, which is pretty cool. Could run over there. Might be a little hard to retrieve the deer from there, though, because I know the caretaker over there, well, no, maybe not. The caretaker over there likes to hunt. Or at least the last I heard he does. I don't know if he's still there anymore. So many things have changed drastically within the last 10 years. In fact, with the Arts Center, it used to be Peter Stern, a big shipbuilding company. His wife's family was in the shipbuilding industry too. Um, but he started that just because he loved modern art. It's a modern art. It's 500 acres of modern art. And what I really love about it is the views, wide open. It used to be farmers' fields, and he just put a bunch of crazy sculptures on it and such. But he died. He got old and ended up with Alzheimer's, and he passed away. Hell of a nice guy. I think he had about 5 wives, actually. But yeah, real nice guy. I'm going to this site. What? Wild Bill? Who, May? I didn't even know I was coming close to making a reference to something like that. I missed that. Yeah, but anyhow, over at the Arts Center, the son took over, and he's not his father, that's for sure. Prices went up. What did I miss? Probably everything. Wow, I'm so thrilled. I'm actually doing a live stream without all the interruptions of losing a connection. This is a pretty cool thing. I knew I'd get a successful one of these days. I knew it would work if I just kept trying. I wasn't going to give up. I used to sleep out here years ago. Oh, when you were putting... Oh, the chapstick? Really? Hmm. Okay, now I get it. Oh my god. That was Wild Bill Cody, wasn't it? Yeah. I think that was based on the truth. I'm not sure. I could be way off about that. It's Friday night. It's been a long week. I'm tired. I'm sitting on the ground. I probably have a snake curling up underneath my legs. There's probably a fox right up on that hill looking at me right now. One good thing is the neighbor's junkyard dogs haven't come up. I love dogs. I love animals, but I can't stand the neighbor's dogs. I mean, they can see you 50 times a day and still bark. 5 lines. I just woke up. My finger don't want it to say what my brain is thinking. That's all right, JV. We'll forgive you. Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, I got to get out and I got to try out all these lures that I've gotten from JV. And I think I used the frog, maybe a couple of others, maybe once this year. Yeah, I want to go out to Winding Hills. It's an Orange County park. I did a survey of it during the summer, and one of the rangers was telling me that they were stocking it pretty regularly, and if I got there in the morning, I could get a bunch of bass. Can't eat them. Anything south of the Catskills in New York, bad news. Don't do it. Not advisable. Don't eat them. So, and then this picture pops up in my memories on Facebook, and it's the Esopus Creek up in the Catskills, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to get these lures wet, but it's like prime time for some fly fishing too. So I can't decide. I can't be in two places at one time. I'm so torn. You have some good pike. Oh my God, do we ever? Dark 30. Unbelievable. You know where it is, though? It's up in the Black Rock Forest Preserve. Um, I've done a couple of videos about it. I've been, let's see, it's about 2 by 3 miles. It was started by Dr. Ernest Stillman back before the turn of the century, and it was created by him as well, he owned all the land up there on the mountain. It's maybe 2 miles from me. And he created it as a reservoir system for the town. It was like his gift to the town. He was a wonderful man. He built a hospital for the town and everything, and it was like, at the time, it was like a state-of-the-art reservoir system where it was all gravity fed. It all came down from about, our highest mountain around here is about 1,700. It's not until you get up into the Catskills where you see 4,000. So people up there call us flatlanders. But we do have fjords. We have a fjord down in the Hudson River, which is pretty cool. So anyhow, yeah, up there in Black Rock, not supposed to fish up there, but a lot of people do anyways. And if you're a Black Rock Fish and Game Club member, yeah, some of the pike are really big up there. I've caught a few, and yeah, they just take off. They just take off, and you better have those hemostats or the needle. Oops, my fire poker caught on fire. Or the needle nose pliers, because they'll take your freaking hand right off. They get big up there. There's nothing. There's nobody harassing them. You know, they're allowed to grow as big as they want. Perfect live stream for a ghost story or two. That would be spectacular. That's great. I actually have a couple of them. Ghost stories. I can't say for certain that something's out there, but I've had a couple of uncanny things happen. Back in the day, when we were all getting our driver's license, I think this was springtime, might have been 1981. And the thing to do was to drive as far as you could, you know, because serious meds, you'll have a good night. Oh, take care, Matt. So anyhow, back to my ghost story. My friend and I go. The big thing was to go to the diner, which is like 2 towns over. So we drive to the diner, and we're coming back at night. And you wanted to extend your drive as much as you could because it was just so the feeling of driving when you first start. I mean, I drove a tractor before that, uh, a farm tractor, but the feeling of driving was just so cool in a car. You just wanted to keep going and going. So we kind of went out of the way and took a backcountry road into town. And it's a long, dark road. Didn't have street lights at the time. It's maybe about 2.5, maybe 3 miles long. And before we pull up off the main state road onto this backcountry road, there's this old, rickety, rotten, like 1940s Ford truck, and the back is just loaded with junk. And we were like, oh, geez, if we have to sit, it's a one laner, and if we have to sit behind him the whole way, we're going to be late, and our parents are going to be wondering where we are. So my friend was driving, Trisha was driving, and she zipped around the front of him. There weren't really any cars on the road around here back in 1981. So she passes them, and we're like, oh, good, okay. So we're yakking away, and we're driving along the dark, windy road and talking about all kinds of stuff. And then we come down, the road terminates at a traffic circle in town, right over here. And we come down the hill to the traffic circle, and we both got real quiet. That truck that she passed before we pulled in off the state highway onto the dark, windy country road was sitting right at the stop sign at the traffic circle. It was a green truck with the white painted grill. And we were like, how the hell, what are the chances of two of them being out here tonight? I think it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, something like that. So I don't know what that was. And we were like, hey, maybe it was a time warp. And, maybe we slipped into another dimension while we were on the backcountry road. And somehow he was able to get ahead of us. I don't know what happened, but that was just one of those uncanny instances where you really had to wonder, did that really happen? Or were we just saying things? Yeah, there could have been two of those trucks out there, but what are the chances? I don't know. Back in 81, there were a lot of vehicles like that were still running on the road, still legal. They may not have had brakes, but they were on the road and they had registration stickers on them. Oh, I started to say before, I used to sleep out here at night. I have this old fashioned glider. It's a piece of outdoor furniture and it's on chains. I did a video about it late last year because somebody in a live stream wanted to know what it looked like. I can't remember what that was all about, but I used to sleep on it. And it was a lot quieter back then when I used to do that. This is a little spooky too. And I woke up one night because I have excellent hearing. I mean, I can hear my neighbor 2 houses down farting his sleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning. My hearing's good. And I wake up and I sit up and I look, and there was moonlight, and there was this huge, huge black dog running down my driveway because my driveway is part of an old farm that used to be here. And so he was probably just using the road because it was the path of least resistance. But when I sat up, he kind of heard me. He sort of looked over his shoulder at me as he trotted along. And it didn't take him no time to go maybe 50 yards, from the time I heard him to the turn in the driveway heading down to the country road here. And I thought, well, whatever it was, I mean, it was big enough to be a wolf. It was huge. It was no coyote. It was long and tall. And that is not. Sorry, I had a phone call. Oh, thanks for coming back, Mark. I appreciate it. Hope the phone call went well. Yeah, the thing about wolves in this area, I was driving down Route 9W South in my Toyota Tacoma pickup probably 22, 23 years ago. And I was almost into Fort Montgomery, and I used to leave like 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work. And I saw this giant black dog. Now, 9W is a 4-lane highway. And this dog jumped in front of my car, not right in front of my truck, but pretty close. I was the only one there, so there was nothing else to distract it. And it jumps from the side of the road to the median, and it stops. And I let my foot off the accelerator, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, holy crap, that dog is as long as my truck. Toyota Tacomas weren't huge. They were like pocket trucks, but boy, I loved mine. It was awesome. And I just kind of coasted for a little while looking at him. And then it was a standard, and then it started to remind me I needed to shift, and that's what woke me up. But this dog turned and looked at me, and he had the biggest yellow eyes I ever saw. It sounds like I'm making this stuff up, but this is true. I've got a million stories like this. He turns and looks at me, and I was like, that's got to be a wolf. And it is true. I mean, I did talk to I've been friends with the retired assistant manager of Blackrock Forest for 40 years. Christ, I've known him longer than I knew my own parents. And I did talk to him about it. He said, Irene, it happens all the time. He said, big money groups, nature groups like the Nature Conservancy, what's some of the others? I can't think of some of the others. But they'll pay bounty hunters whatever they want to go up to Alaska or wherever, and they'll grab some wolves. They bring them down here to try to repopulate them. They get paid a lot of money for this, and then the poor things end up running around. They don't know where to go. They're surrounded by houses and traffic, and I mean, Black Rock Forest is only 2 by 3 miles. It's not very big, and then they end up running out on 9W and they get creamed by a car. And he said that he had, when he was, I'm sure his son does too. I haven't heard it recently, but this was back in the late 90s. And yeah, he used to get a lot of phone calls, from the cops, like, we got another wolf. Somebody hit another wolf. The wolf always died, but, the drivers got away with no problem. Just, poor car's all smashed up and you got a dead wolf. But yeah, I'll never forget the eyes on that big black wolf. So I don't know what came through my yard at one time, about 15 years ago, but I never slept down on my porch again. Because you never know. We got some big coyotes around here too. We had some pups during the spring, and the last time I checked my trail camera, there's not a whole lot going on back there because the neighbors' junkyard dogs are up there all the time, rooting around, and they can't resist it. There's actually a lot of room up there. They can run the right of way as far as they want. They could go all the way down to the next town if they wanted to on the right of way. But yeah, they're always up there, and that's pretty much, it's the neighbor's dogs and a couple of squirrels and the possum. I got a raccoon the last time. But yeah, the dogs are keeping the deer away. The last trail cam episode I did was Parade of Bucks. Woo! What were there, like 5, 6 of them? Anywhere between 4 points and 8 points. Man, it was like watching deer on a catwalk. It was cool as hell. Some people get really mad at that. I never understand. Get all their money. Well, I've heard it said that there's nothing new under the sun, and to an extent, I believe that's true, but I don't think that all levels of creativity have been mined. And a lot of these high roller um, nature groups just, I don't know, I guess they get together and they think they got nothing better to do with their time, so they're going to play God. That's how the coyotes got down here. We didn't have coyotes for years. When I was growing up here in the late 60s, you probably saw a black snake. We used to get a black snake migration. Again, I lived on the side of a mountain. I literally lived on a cliff. Got to take off. Have a great weekend. And everyone. You too, Mark. Thank you so much for stopping in. Go have some nice elk. Have some for breakfast with your fried eggs. Yeah, so I lived on a cliff up on a mountain, and you didn't see animals up there. You didn't see deer because they had hunted everything out in the 50s. And let's see, they sort of had conservation laws. Things really didn't get tight with conservation laws until 1970s. You find Kennedy here for an awful lot of that. But yeah, I mean, if you saw a deer, it was because the guy down the hill, I think it was Buddy Anderson, he used to go out west, Pennsylvania, Ohio. I'm not sure where else he would go. And he'd get a deer and hang it from his tree down the street. And that was like, that was awesome. Like everybody's like, oh, hey, Buddy Anderson's got a deer. But he left it out. I know it was a lot colder back then because I remember wearing snow boots on Halloween and snow on Halloween in the lower Hudson Valley. And he used to leave that deer out for so long, and then he'd offer my dad some. My dad was like, thanks, but no thanks. Because we'd still get some warm days, Well, Indian summer after the frost, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, he didn't like that. My dad didn't hunt because he was in World War II in Korea, and he had enough of guns. In fact, we had a revolver in the house, and my mom kind of joked with him a bit. She's like, Tom, what the hell are you doing? You got the gun in the house, and you got the ammo out in the woodshed. So if an assailant comes to the house, somebody tries to break in, what am I supposed to do? Hang on a minute. I got to go out to the woodshed and get the bullets. But yeah, he had enough of that. In fact, when they were dropping bombs out of the B-17 over Germany, the one thought that was on his mind all the time was, damn it, I'm killing kids. I'm killing kids. It just drove him nuts. But yeah, Dad had enough guns. He wasn't interested. I don't know how he'd feel about me hunting. I actually started in 1984, and then I took a long hiatus. The Fish and Game Club around here was the Good Old Boys Club back then, and I was sitting in the woods one day during bow season, and they were bad. They were they had no qualms about calling you every nasty, derogatory female name in the book, and they were very aggressive. And so I'm sitting in the woods one day, and it's not far. It wasn't far from where I lived, anyways. Um, I was good friends with the forest manager and his assistant, who I just spoke about a little earlier. And one of them had dropped me off, and I'm thinking, these guys could kill me now. This is back in 1984. These guys could kill me and get away with it, and it's happened before. And so I got up and I walked down the hill, walked across 9W, and went home. And I never went back until a number of years ago when I met Charlie. And Charlie was essential hunter, and I started hunting again. And I haven't looked back since. I'm so glad I did, and boy, a whole lot's changed since then. JV, have you been out? Did you get out in the blind yet? I saw you had to move it because you didn't find any sign. You know what I'm not finding any sign of this year? Turkey. Right now we have until next weekend. We have 2 weeks. It used to be the whole month of October for New York fall turkey, but they changed that, and I think maybe it's a good idea because I'm not seeing anything out there. I'm not hearing anything. It started last weekend. I got out of my car. Before I know the slam the door is a turkey shock. So before I slam the door, let me see if I squeak out a little key. Nothing. Nothing. And then, I close my door and I walk into the field and I'm tripping over pheasants. I'm not kidding. There's so many pheasants this year. We are literally stepping on them. It's just, oh my goodness, they're everywhere. But I would love to see some squirrel. Haven't really seen any squirrel either. A little upset about that. Oh, you're going out tomorrow? It's been raining all day. Oh boy. Means, once it passes the Ohio River Valley, we'll be looking at it. Looking at some rain. It's been kind of dry lately. In fact, I was a little hesitant to start the fire, but my shredder broke years ago, and I loved my shredder, and it was a plug-in, and it broke, and I'm just real big on shredding, especially in the area I live in. There's so many creeps around. I mean, there are people who will actually, I can't believe there are people who will take the time to go through your garbage to piece together a statement to get your account number, but they'll do it. So, shredder dies. So, I got a fire pit. Now in the Hudson Valley, we got a lot of snowflakes who get very upset about burning stuff. But this isn't really a burn barrel like what I had in upstate New York. My God, we threw everything everybody threw everything in a burn barrel. And so, yeah, I had some old statements and stuff that I put in a paper bag in the corner of the kitchen. And then when it starts to get filled up, come out here to the fire pit. And got done mowing early enough, and I said, you know what? The mosquitoes aren't out, so let's have a fire. And if the mosquitoes did come out, I would have called it a night a lot sooner. And then I got the bright idea to do a live stream. And let's say I got 4. I'm thrilled to death that I have 4 people in my live stream, and we're at 54 minutes already. Oh, maybe I should get going. I think NL Ghost Wolf is doing a live stream tonight. I don't want to get in his way. I'm not sure when that started. I think it starts at 8:30, if I'm not mistaken. Man, he's been doing some drone footage that is to die for. What beautiful country he lives in up there. It's gorgeous. I always wanted to move to Vermont. Speaking of that, who was the YouTube channel from Vermont? What the heck was his name? He got really busy too, like Ramsey did. What the heck was his name? Let's see. Where are my subscriptions? Looking at the wall. Began with an R. He came from Vermont. I used to love watching his videos because I just loved seeing the. Oh, there's that Ramsey guy. Raquel, she's up in Canada. Did it begin with an R? Oh, maybe it didn't. Does anybody remember? He stopped doing YouTube channels because he got so busy. I think he was a teacher up there in his town of Vermont, and he had to stop doing the YouTube because he just had too many other things to do, and I haven't seen anything from him in a long time. I thought it started with an R. I'm gonna find out it's something completely different, and then I'm gonna feel like a big dope. Let's see. Oh, RIG Outdoors. R period, I period, G period, Outdoors. Yeah, I liked his channel. When was the last time? Oh, we just did. Oh, we just did an update 3 weeks ago, and I didn't get the notification. What else is new, right? I heard that about 3 years ago. You know how everybody was complaining about losing subs? I heard about 3 years ago, YouTube was starting that whole crap where for every 1 subscriber you got, they took away 4. And this was 3 years ago. I'm subscribed to too many channels to remember. Yeah, I know, JV. I know. Okay, so 3 weeks ago. Let me see if I can put this. Can I do two things at the same time? I'm lucky I got the iPad, the tablet to sit up here. Oh, there I am right there. Worst live streamer ever. Worst live streamer ever, and she finally has. Whoops, better not do that. She finally has a successful live stream. Yay! Success at last. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled that everybody came in. I still have 4. I am amazed. Thank you, everybody. RIG Outdoors. There he is. Is that him? Looks like something satanic. No, it's not. It's not satanic. Let's not even go there. Let me see if I can do this without causing too much trouble. RIG Outdoors. Oh, hey, I got a joke for you. What did one tree say to the other? Your mother's a nice piece of ash. It was kind of a guide joke, but I thought it was funny. I hope you did too. Paste. There it goes. It's RIG Outdoors. If anybody's interested, he just did an update 3 weeks ago. And look at his older videos. I just love them. What are we looking at here? I got a notice for someone that I watched and then went back later to the channel and it showed that I was not a member. So I had to add that. See, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Google does not own YouTube. I don't know if this will help at all, but Google actually is just a name. Doesn't really mean anything because it must have been 7 and 8 years ago. Google was bought out by a company named Alphabet, who hired Harvard. And if we're friends on Facebook, I can send you the link for it. I sent it to Matt and I sent one to Cody, one of the links. Alphabet hired hired Harvard to do a study on YouTube. Oh, I got 6 people in here. I am so thrilled. To do a study. Hey, Backwoods Misfit, thanks for coming in. You can't stay long? Pool league. Oh, you're a pool player, huh? Cool. I had a friend who used to go all throughout the Midwest. He was so good, he had to quit because people were looking for him. You know, you can't go back to too many of the same places or even close to some of the same places all the time. But he was doing it to just to support himself because he was out west learning how to build the roofing trusses back in the 70s. We had a house, early 70s, those major heavy duty roofing trusses for residential homes that were just phenomenal. They were literally worth their weight in gold. What the hell was I saying? I was talking, Alphabet, Google, Harvard. Alphabet hired Harvard to do a study about what what a right-wing YouTuber what their to their content and what kind of reaction it was getting from the public. That's really sad. That I understand studying demographics. You know, we have plenty of people who do research for the betterment of the way we live. What are they called? Begins with an A. Can't think of it. Oh boy, it's been a long week. My brain is mush. Yeah, I mean, it's good to do things like that, but I mean, that just the whole article just sounded very passive aggressive, and I didn't like it. Gotta go, Backwoods Misfit. Well, thank you so much for stopping in. So, Yeah, I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. It was that Alphabet instigated Harvard study, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but like I said, about 7, 8 years ago, um, Google was bought out by Alphabet. Now we never heard that it was bought out by this Alphabet. But does anybody remember the joke about Google? It was Gurgle, because the media made it look like it was bombing in the stock market. That really wasn't the case at all. It was just taking over. Hey, Kennedy crew, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. It's a Friday night. I'm just hanging by the fire, talking about a whole bunch of nothing. Just hanging out with everybody, telling ghost stories and stories about YouTube and Alphabet and Google. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with YT, and I'm just keeping it straight. I'm not gonna start another channel so that I could get all political. I've got enough channels that I subscribe to that are political enough for me. Pretty legit stuff. If anybody needs any help with this situation that we've been going through over the last year, Convict 19, check out Living Swell with Peggy Hall. She's legit, and she's talked to many lawyers, and if anybody has any discrepancies where they need help to keep their job, or anything where they're being confronted with the issues at hand, she's the one to go to. I just thought I'd throw that in there. I have no affiliation with her. Oh, hey, Tom, thanks for coming back. Yeah, I screwed up that first one real bad. I don't even worry about it anymore. I pretty much gain 20 and lose 10. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it either. But when I found that study, because I think it was when everybody was starting to move over to Rumble. In fact, I got to be honest with you, I kind of forgot about Rumble. Um, I did earn some money on there though, and I'm still earning some money. In fact, if you use the app on your phone and you do that Rumble thing, you press the fist, the gloved fist, in the center of the screen, and then you like yes or no by swiping. You can earn money doing that too. It's actually pretty cool. I was talking about something, and I lost track of it. What else is new? Oh, my fire's going out. Oh my god. I got a nice pile of coals there. I could throw one of my pheasants in there right now. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. It is what it. Oh, Rumble. Yeah, I kind of forgot about Rumble for a little while there. But it's Rumble is kind of cool because it's profit sharing. I guess YouTube is too, but YouTube is a bunch of they're very serious marketeers, and if it's not working for them, I guess the same thing goes for anything on Rumble. But what was kind of cool about Rumble was, even though I only threw up like some tester videos at first. Yeah, I've got money to cash out. Yeah. It's kind of funny how that happened. Started out at like $5, and then it was like nickel and diming its way all the way up to $50, and I thought that was kind of cool. But it's kind of fun to watch it. To watch it grow the money, and I remember when Al's Outdoors got on it. He said on Facebook, he said, "Well, I'm on Rumble, and the pay sucks." Because at first it does. You see like 0.01, but eventually they get it out there, and I don't. I pick either number one or the number two option. Sometimes number three, just to get a feel for all of it, because it doesn't really matter to me. I really like making the videos. I mean, being monetized would be kind of cool, but then you got the 1099 to think about. But that's life. Oh, yeah, good question, Cecilia. JV, are you on the road? You said you just woke up. So I don't know. Yeah, my daughters decided they have had enough of their mom and came home. So no camping this fall. Oh boy. Okay. That's a shame. So I got to ask you, JV. You don't have to answer me. I'm just curious. I know you've been running all over the country. Are you semi-retired right now, or was there time owed to you, or did you just say I'm just going? I hope I'm not. I'm sitting in the grass in my linen pants. I hope I'm not getting any ticks on me. I'm pretty good about that. Oh, and that's another thing. Oh my God. Oh, they came home to you, bride, or scared. Good one, Tom. Yeah, we have two possums in the yard. Possums love to eat ticks, so I shouldn't worry about it so much, but I get a little paranoid. I've had ticks on me. Don't ask me what does it's not the fat wax, because the fat wax moisturizing balm that I make, I've only been using that for about 4 or 5 years now. But even before that, a tick would bite me and it would die. It would literally die right in my skin. It's like, what the heck is in my skin? Um, so I never actually had one go through the entire cycle, the 72-hour cycle where it sucks the blood and then, hate to gross anybody out. Oh, is it raining? And then it regurgitates, and that's when you can get sick. So it never got to that point. Geez, if it is raining, that stinks because I hate to move because I might lose my connection. We're coming up on an hour and 8 minutes, and I still got 3 people in here. Woohoo! I feel so successful. Just the fact that this thing isn't shutting down every 5 seconds. Like, for last year, I decided I was traveling at over 200 hours of vacation. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. So I decided I was going to meet as many people as I could this year. But I'm done now for this year. I'm exhausted. Yeah, you put a lot of miles on your truck, but that was cool, especially the last one. I was like, holy cow. I was making breakfast and I was watching it, and I hear Scott Stewart's voice. Not Scott, Scott Stewart's voice. And I spun around. I was like, oh my God, it's Scott and Joy, and I haven't seen them in so long. Joy got into TikTok, and then I never really saw her again. So, okay, I'm lost. What are we talking about? Yeah, I understand what Tom said, but I'm a little lost in what Cecilia said. I guess it's something between Cecilia and JV. Tom, aren't you doing another gig at the Catoctin Pump House? Starting to get to that time of the year where it might actually snow if it cools down. I hear something yakking over here in the woods. Got my phone flashlight on, see if I see any eyes, see if anybody's watching me. Hmm. Might come down on the other side. Oh, you're not sure? Okay. I thought there was a definite. I must have misunderstood you. That was fun that night. It's just, I wish, I wish I had the connection that I have now. That would have been great. That was a really cool place too. I had a good time that night, and it was a lot of fun meeting you. Yeah, when silver birches in November, Funhouse is going. Yeah, yeah, I would think so. If not the end of the November. You know what? I got my phone right here. I wonder when they are. Next year. Okay, so JV, you'll come as far east as Pennsylvania, but not New York. I could show you a real good time if you came to New York, and I don't mean it that way. I mean, I could show you some history like you would not believe. I don't know if you're interested in that, but I could show you around some pretty cool spots. But New York City would be a drive-through if you had any interest. Personally, I still love New York City, um, but it's gone ballistic with Convict 19. Absolutely ballistic. I mean, basically, it's like Stalag 19 down there. Oh boy, is it bad. So I wouldn't even bother getting out of the car down there. Just do a drive-through. But there's plenty to see. You can see a lot of New York City, just from the car. The Cockton Pump House. Doing silver function. Trying to get the fire back up. I can't tilt my tablet any more than it is because it's going to end up falling on the ground. I kind of did this impromptu. Did you know that if you do the S with your phone, if you got a slow signal, it'll help recalibrate it, and sometimes it works. Yep, nope, it worked. It went right through. It was just sitting there lagging, and you go like so, and it recalibrates it. Yeah, but you didn't. It wasn't papers, please, like it is now, and if everybody. Oh, and this whole thing. Well, my first thought: if everybody just go and do what you want. Go get a V if you want. If you don't want, doesn't matter. But don't agree to. I saw some eyes over there. Don't agree to show in the papers. That's just ridiculous. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I was gonna say something else and went right into my head. I would love to. Bigfoot and Lake Ferry both live in northern New York too. Oh yeah, who else is up there? Sprinkling. But been to New York City and had no interest in going back to New York. Oh really? Yeah, but that part doesn't bother me because I can drive back over on the way home. Driving back over the GW George Washington Bridge. You look to your right, and it's as dark as this. It's like, I'm going home. I'm going home. I don't have to live with these people. I can just drive down and drive away. Come and go. Yeah, I used to love to go to the Frick, and I went to Radio City a couple of times to see the Rockettes. And, it's real touristy, but it's still kind of fun. What the heck is that? Sounds like something's trying to curl up with me out here in the dark. Home history venue. Oh, the airline thing. I don't want to get too political, but I'm always wondering what's behind the curtain for everything, even the whole Convict 19 thing. But this whole thing with Southwestern, what what's really going on? Because all of a sudden it kind of blew up like, oh my God, yeah, don't tread on me. And these people are standing up for themselves. God bless them. All of a sudden it got very, very quiet. So what's the real story behind that? We may never know. Hmm. I would like to come to. Yeah, but does TO have the Cotton Club? It, 42nd Street, the Bowery. Um, it's not so much the conglomeration of people. It's also the fact that I don't tell too many people this, but my uncle Michael, um, and my aunt, my father's sister married Uncle Michael. I'm not going to say his last name, but my dad was always like, "Ah, my sister married the mom," but it was quiet. It was pretty quiet. My Uncle Michael was the manager for all the New York City Broadway playhouses back in the after World War II. He retired from that, and he met everybody. Um, my brother and I were kind of young. My cousins were born in the late '40s, so they got to meet everybody, and we also so we always had that connection with it. It was like family, and his favorite performer was Danny Thomas. He used to get Christmas. He used to exchange Christmas cards and everything, and he gave her an offer she couldn't refuse. Wow. I don't know. I think when I lived in Stilesville, New York, I lived in a town of 900. There's too many people. There's been too many people in the Lower Hudson Valley here for me too. But the whole connection with the city, we were always there, and so it became second nature. And of course, when we left and we went home, we went to the mountaintop. We were the last house at the end of a long road in Fort Montgomery with a beautiful view. Our neighbors were Harriman State Park and West Point Reservation. But and then uh, there there wasn't a whole lot where I live as far as clothing goes, except for Newburgh. But Newburgh took a dump because it started to fall apart. They did urban renewal, which was basically tearing down all the businesses in the heart of Newburgh, which was a thriving. Newburgh had a lot of firsts. Thomas Edison lit the first electric light bulb there, and I think Velveeta's cheese was invented there. So we didn't go into the area where I live now, which is about 12 miles from where I was born, and so if we wanted clothes, we went to the city. And we didn't go to the department stores. You went and found the garment district. And my dad usually had the inside skinny on that because, being an iron worker and being in the unions and knowing a lot of people, he would talk to the right people and they would say, oh, okay, the garment district moved because there were some money issues with the garment district. And they were always on the move, but they never left New York City. And we would go and find them and what we would do is we would, whoever wanted to come with us, aunt, grandma, yeah, I want to go visit so and so. I want to visit this person. Okay, so we go down, hit the garment district. A woman would take care of me, and a man would take care of my brother. These were school clothes, and it was cheap too. And you couldn't understand a word they were saying, because it basically came right off the boat. But they were true craftsmen and real seamstresses, and they would take your measurements, and then you'd pick out a couple. Well, mom would pick out a couple of things. I want some denim. I want some of this. Some seersucker, whatever. Um, and then you'd go out into the city and visit family and people that and then you'd stop at the automat and you'd have something to eat, and then we would go back just before the garment district closed, and my parents would pay for the clothes, and it didn't cost much, and they'd come in they would come wrapped in a brown paper with a twine on it, and we'd get in the Ford Falcon or the Mercury, and we'd drive across the GW and be in the woods in no time. So it was convenient. I mean, you really left the city behind. Um, Not so much anymore because Staten Island back in the '70s was coming up because the place was falling apart with the crime. And then, of course, 9/11, there was a big mass exodus. And, of course, with Convict 19, I mean, they're still coming in. And the real estate market is crazy. Cecilia says, I live in the heart of the city, 15 minutes to the core. That's Toronto, correct, Cecilia? She said something was crazy. You know how you can sense something, like with your third eye, something's near you. It could have been the fox running by. I don't know. Or it could have been the possum rooting around back there. But I could feel something. Okay, gotcha. I'm sorry if I missed that the first time. I get so many things on my mind, and work is so busy. Sometimes I can't see straight. Sure, you know what that's like. And my coffee is cold. Now that's a crime. So we've got 6 in here. I'm almost afraid to touch any buttons. I wonder, how do I make moderators? Do I press settings? I don't want to take up anybody's time with something boring, but put it in the fire. Put what in the fire, Tom? Oh, the coffee? Yeah, I'd have to get my stainless steel out of the house, which means I'd have to leave you for about 30 seconds. I don't want to do that. It's a ceramic mug. It's my favorite one. 2 years ago, crashed and burned. Horrible, horrible accident. God, jeez, that was sad. Private chat, brand, banners. Yeah, I shouldn't have put it in this. I should have put it in the Stanley thermos. But I didn't think that this live stream was going to actually work, so I didn't expect to be out here so long. Before my neighbor went out, he came over with the cedar. He just cut this like 2 weeks ago. I'd like to make some cedar chips out of that. That's nice. He brought it over for the fire. I don't think it's time to burn it. This is still, I can still see a little bit of low sap on this. You have to be on the YouTube side and click on their name and hit add moderator. So should I do that from my phone, JV? I appreciate it. I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I'm doing it on my phone. Thank you, JV. You're so nice. I might as well make everybody one. Is it working? Let's see. Ross Bell. I guess Ross Bell knows JV. Thanks for stopping in, Ross. There we go. How cool. Let's see. There's Cecilia. Cecilia's an awesome moderator. She keeps an eye on everything. I'm so glad the traffic stayed quiet. You're blue? Yes, you are. Okay. I guess the next time Tom or Cecilia pops up, they'll be blue. Oh. Right. Are you? Oh, you. Okay. Let me just double check. I'm always double checking myself. Okay. Looks good. Very cool. Oh, boy. There's 3 in here. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. It's an hour and 25 minutes. I think I'm going to call it a night. Not unless somebody's got some big topic they want to talk about. JV needs to be. I'm laughing because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to be sociable. Nice sub, nice. Well, nice to meet you too, Ross Bell. I appreciate that very much. Right back at you. As soon as I get a moment. Yeah, it's starting to sprinkle here too. I didn't know we were supposed to get rain. Well, you know, that darn weather machine by the GOV''T, and that ain't no joke either. I'm not going to go into that too much. But making the weather is nothing new. The Indians used to burn huge tracts of land, sometimes 7 miles, to get the weather to change. And they learned, the white man learned that after a huge battle with a lot of artillery, it it could be a dry spell. They have this big war, and then there's a lot of smoke and emissions in the air, and 3 days later, lo and behold, it rains. Could have been a coincidence, but they seem to learn it with quite enough regularity where it was actually commissioned at one time. Oh, NL Ghost Wolf is on. He's got 19 watching, and Mark is over there. All right, you know what? And Tina Ladybug is there too. It's been spinning on and off all day. Here, screwed up my dear. Oh yeah, Tom. Right? Jeez, that's a real pain. It can happen. You never know. What is it? Butterfly flaps its wings, or something like. I can't remember what that was, but yeah, it looks like everybody's over at NL Ghost Wolf. So, everybody, again, thank you so much. I still have 4. I feel so thrilled to death by that. Ross Bell, I will look you up. Thank you again for stopping in, JV, Tom, and Cecilia. And I'm gonna head out, everybody, and let my fire die down a little bit. It's nice and toasty over here. I should have sat on one of my hunting pads, though. So, Tom, you be careful with that gas. You know what gas means. It's a sorrowful cry of a turd trying to be released. You guys too. Have a great night. Thanks again for stopping in. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad that this was finally, after 4 tries, this was as successful. I almost don't want to go, but I know everybody's got things to do. Go over and check out, I forgot his name again, NL Ghost Wolf. Whole bunch of our friends are over there. Have a good night, hunting stuff. Take care, everybody. Good night. Take care, Cecilia. Thanks again.